What's up, Moeo Nation? You know we Moeo everywhere we go. And yesterday, on Motivation Monday, I talked to you about how we respond when things happen in our lives that to some people would be considered failures. And it makes such an incredible difference the way we view those events. We are all going to face situations or times where we attempt something and we don't quite meet up to our expectations for that event. And some people would view that as failure. And failure is defined as the lack of success. And when we view those events as a lack of success, sometimes it'll just stop us in our tracks. We have no way to progress forward. But if we view failure through a different mindset, it can change how effective we are in the future. And I gave you a little power statement that I want you to remember and commit to memory. And that power statement is, I will turn fail into fuel. Hear me again. I will turn fail into fuel. Now let me try to break that down a little bit. You need fuel in all areas of your life if you're going to get where you desire to go. When I run marathons, if I don't fuel up, if I don't eat the right foods before the marathon, if I don't supplement my nutrition during the marathon, I'm going to run out of fuel. I use that fuel to power me to success. Same way with cars. If you're trying to go somewhere in a car, go on vacation or go to work or even go to the grocery store, you have to have fuel. If you run out of fuel, if you don't have fuel, you'll never make it. Well, I want to tell you that things that happen that some people view as failure, we can use as fuel to drive us to accomplish things that we desire for our life. I told you I was going to give you examples, real life examples. And let me start with saying, I believe the first step in turning fail into fuel is what you focus on. See, some people would put it this way. The first step in overcoming failure is to forget about the failure. I've heard it put another way and say, flush the failure. There was a baseball coach who taught his players when something happened where they would consider as a failure, when that event happened, they would literally reach up and act like they had their hand on a toilet plunger and push it down and just flush that failure away. They go up to the plate, say they struck out. He'd give them 5 or 10 seconds to think about it, and then by the time they got back to the dugout, flush the failure and move on. Some people would say, forget about the failure. What I like to say is fine-tune your focus. What's your focus on? Don't focus on what just happened, but focus on what you can learn from what just happened and focus it in on your next attempt. Where's your focus? You got to fine-tune your focus. And let me give you an example. Thomas Edison, the man who's credited with inventing the incandescent light bulb. He had a dream of creating an incandescent light bulb that would glow and light up a room so we could do away with gas lamps, candles, and be much more effective. So he started attempting to invent the incandescent light bulb. It is said that he had the idea in his mind to create a vacuum-filled tube that had a tiny filament that ran between two sources of electricity. And when he passed electricity through the filament, it would make the filament glow. And that's what his idea was. he tried over and over again. He tried over 6,000 different filaments over a period of years. People from all over the world would send him filaments from plants in the jungle, from all types of products, trying to find a fiber that would glow and continue glowing and not burn out. 6,000 times. He tried 6,000 filaments and none of them worked. Finally, after over 6,000 tries, he found the one filament that would glow and sustain its glow. And as a result of that, he was able to create the incandescent light bulb that we all use today. And just think if he would have looked at those trials early, and the first one didn't work, and the second one didn't work, what if he would have just said, that's a failure, I'm done, I can't do this? What if after 1,000, he would have said, it's a failure, I'm done, it's never gonna work? Somebody asked him one time, what was it like to try over 6,000 filaments that all failed before he finally found the one? And he said, I don't look at it as 6,000 failures. I look at it as I figured out 6,000 filaments that don't work. Now that's refocusing the way you look at it. That's fine-tuning your focus. What I just did wasn't a failure. It was something I learned from. Put yourself in the shoes of that baseball player. He goes back to the plate. He strikes out when he's walking back. If he focuses on the failure of striking out, and the next time he comes to the plate, he's still thinking about that, it's going to affect him the next time he comes to the plate. But if he puts that behind him, if he flushes that failure, if he fine-tunes his focus on what's important right now, Coach Lou Holtz has a famous saying with the acronym WIN, W-I-N. It's what's important now. What's important now is not what happened. What's important now is what's happening right now. And so fine-tune your focus on now. Put those past attempts behind you. Learn from them. It's a learning experience. And be ready for the next attempt. That's how you fine-tune your focus. And that's the first step in turning fail into fuel. So commit that to memory today, that little statement, that little power statement. And when you're finding the going difficult, tell yourself, I will turn fail into fuel. And we mow everywhere we go.